Welcome to this explainer. If you're someone who loves figuring out the nuts and bolts of language, really getting into the mechanics of how we communicate clearly, well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're going to act as your enthusiastic mentors. We're taking a closer look at the absolute foundational building blocks of the English language, articles and nouns. In English, these tiny words completely change the clarity and structure of your sentences. So get ready to focus. By the end of this guide, you're going to see English sentence structure in a completely new light. To really grasp why these tiny words matter so much, we gotta start with a classic translation trap. On the left, we've got the very common Spanish phrase, soy estudiante. It's perfectly correct, it's self-contained, and it makes total sense. But look what happens when we jump over to the right side for the English translation. You can't just say, I am student. I mean, it just feels kind of empty, right? The correct translation has to be, I am a student. You see, in English, nouns rarely survive alone out in the wild. They almost always need a little companion word, an article, to give the message real precision. This little word a might seem totally insignificant, but I promise you it's absolutely mandatory. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Why articles matter. 2. The sound trick. 3. The power of the. 4. Plurals and rebels. And 5. Real-life application. Section 1. Why articles matter. As we just saw, in English, unlike in Spanish, you almost always need a small word right before an object or a person. These words are like the ultimate companions to nouns. They're the structural pillars that basically signal to your listener exactly what kind of noun is coming next. Are we talking about one thing, lots of things, just any general thing, or one highly specific thing? Well, the foundation of this whole system begins with the indefinite articles a and an. The golden rule here is that you use a and an when you're talking about a single non-specific thing, meaning just one item, and it can literally be any item of its type. A car, an apple. It doesn't matter which one, just one of them. And hey, please etch this warning into your brain right now. They are never used for groups. No way. If you have more than one item, a and an have absolutely no place in your sentence. Section 2. The sound trick. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is if a and an both mean the exact same thing, one single non-specific item, how on earth do you know which one to pick? This is exactly where so many learners get tripped up, mostly because they rely on their eyes instead of their ears. The choice between a and an isn't actually about the visual letter you see written on the page. It's entirely about the auditory sound you hear when you speak. Notice over in the left column, we use a plus a consonant sound, a student, a teacher. You hear that hard consonant right off the bat, right? Now jump to the right column. Here we use an plus a vowel sound, an artist, an apple, an engineer. The English language really hates that awkward, choppy pause that happens when you try to smash two vowel sounds together, like artist. It just feels clunky. So we sneak that N in there to make the whole thing flow beautifully. But because we're relying on sound, we run into some wild exceptions, like the word hour. It starts with the letter H. Going by visual rules, H is a consonant, so you'd naturally want to write a hour. But wait, try saying it out loud. Hour. The H is completely silent. The very first sound that actually comes out of your mouth is the vowel O. And since auditory rules always beat visual letters in this specific case, we have to say an hour. Remember, sound always beats spelling. Section 3. The power of the. All right, so we've mastered general, single items, but what happens when we know exactly what we're talking about? Now we're shifting gears from just any random object to a very specific object. Let's define this mighty little word. The is our definite article. You use it when you're talking about something specific, and, this is key, both the speaker and the listener know exactly what's being referred to. If you're mentally translating this, the does the heavy lifting of acting as el, la, los, or las in Spanish. Imagine we're standing in a room just full of books. If I say, hand me a book, well, any book will do. But if I say, hand me the book on the table, I am bringing sharp laser focus to the conversation. I'm isolating one specific known item. That right there is the power of the. And here's something definitely worth celebrating. Unlike our super strict friends A and an, who only ever hang out with singular nouns, the mighty the is highly versatile. It works effortlessly with both singular and plural nouns. The student is here, works perfectly. The students are here, also works perfectly. It's just an incredibly robust grammatical tool that seamlessly handles one specific thing or a whole bunch of specific things. Section 4. Plurals and rebels. So we know how to talk about one thing, but how do we structurally talk about many things? And this brilliantly illustrates the mechanics of multiples. Most of the time, making a noun plural in English is an absolute breeze. Just look at the first row. You simply add an S. Student becomes students. Book becomes books. Easy, right? But pronunciation flow matters here too. If a word already ends in a hissing sound, like S, X, ch, or sh, adding just another S would be literally impossible to pronounce. So as that second row shows, we add ES. Class becomes classes. Box becomes boxes. Finally, if you have a consonant followed by a Y, you drop that Y and add IS. Study becomes studies. These are your predictable, reliable building blocks.
But language is alive, and alive things always have a few rebels. These are the irregular nouns that completely change their shape, totally refusing to follow the standard rules. A single child doesn't become childs. The rebel transforms into children. A single person morphs into a group of people. You kind of just have to memorize these rebels. And underneath that, well, here is the most massive warning of this entire explainer. We said it before, but we're reinforcing it now. Plural nouns never ever use a or an. You can say students. You can never ever say a students.
Section 5. Real-life application.
Let's move to and see how this builds into real, fluid communication. Because theory is great, but real-life application is where true mastery happens. Imagine we're stepping into a dynamic classroom setting. We hear persona A say, "Look, she is an artist." Let's analyze the structure here. Why is this perfectly correct? Well, first, we're talking about one single person, so we absolutely need an indefinite article. Second, the noun artist starts with a clear, undeniable vowel sound, ah. Therefore, the speaker correctly uses an to ensure that smooth phonetic flow. She is an artist. Perfect. Now persona B replies, "Yes, and the students are ready for the show." Look at the brilliance of this response. They didn't say a students. They correctly avoided that trap altogether. Instead, they used the because both people in this conversation know exactly which specific group of students they're talking about. Plus, student correctly took the standard plural S ending to become students. They also used the show, referring to a specific known event. And then persona A finishes the thought. The book is interesting. They are good teachers. Notice how the book isolates one specific singular item sitting right there in the room. Then look at the second half. They are good teachers. The noun teachers is plural, using the standard S. But notice what's completely missing? There is no a or an anywhere near that plural noun. It's a clean, standalone plural, functioning exactly as it should. So the crucial point is that mastering English nouns and articles really just boils down to recognizing these three core patterns. Pattern 1, use a or an plus a singular noun when introducing one general thing. Pattern 2, use the plus a specific noun, whether it's singular or plural, when the listener knows exactly what you mean. And pattern 3, when talking about general multiples, just use the plural noun all by itself, completely dropping the a or an. And that brings us to the end of our master guide. You now understand the hidden mechanics of English nouns and articles. You know the sound trick, you know the awesome power of specificity, and you definitely know how to spot those rebel plurals. But hey, knowledge is only potential power until you actually use it. So, my question to you is, are you ready to apply these rules and bring true precision to your English today? Start noticing these tiny words everywhere you look. Keep learning, keep focusing, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.